Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the My Local Rodeo Show. Elin Olive and Matt Petrie, and we've got a great show for you guys today. Of course, it's the Intermountain Icebreaker that is taking center stage, not just here, but really all over the country when it comes to high school rodeo, as the states have not started yet, and everybody in the West, especially, their eyes looking towards the iconic Golden Spike Arena in Ogden. We got a great show. We've got Garry Hawks of the National High School Rodeo Association. We've got Duncan Olsen of the Golden Spike Arena, and then the founder of the Intermountain Icebreaker, Mr. Ben Gurman, is going to be joining us a little bit later on, and then our entire broadcast crew to break down the action and what you can look forward to. But first, we have to start this off on a bit of a somber note, and unfortunately, Utah rodeo cowboy, three-time NFR qualifier, one of the only rodeo cowboys to qualify as a header and a heeler, Mr. Quinn Kessler, passed away earlier this week, and it's not how you want to start a show that you're excited to do, because we've been counting down the days to this show because we get to talk about the Intermountain Icebreaker, something we are both very, very excited about, but it would be wrong for us not to acknowledge the loss that is Mr. Kessler.
It is. You know, he reached a wide range of people. Everybody had good things to say about him. Obviously, his work in the arena speaks for itself. But, you know, he leaves behind a young wife and a 2-year-old child. And, you know, it's just something that kind of shook the rodeo world this week.
Yeah, so that is... it definitely shook the rodeo world. I mean, of course, he roped with world champion Matt Sherwood, someone that I grew up following very, very, very closely. And you look at his PRCA bio. He won the Days of the Old West over in Delta. That was the last win of his career in 2023. 2022, with Caleb Hendricks, he finished 22nd in the world, and won right here the Evanston Cowboy Days as well in 2022. Of course, placed 13th in world standings, went to the NFR 3 times again. One of very few team ropers to qualify as both a header and a heeler. So definitely someone that I think merits Hall of Fame recognition. I mean, it's not often that you hear. I mean, you look at the list of names that have did what he did, and you're talking about Trevor Brazil. You're talking about massive names.
Trevor
in the sport
Brazil
of rodeo.
and Speed Williams are it.
Yeah,
he's one of 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, massive names in the sport of rodeo that accomplished that. So, of course, our thoughts and prayers are with his family, his friends, and anyone affected by this tragic situation.
Couldn't say it better. You know, we go to rodeos to watch these guys perform and compete, and you never in the world think something like this would happen, and then it just hits you like a load of bricks.
And it kind of hits especially where we're at, because we're covering Utah High School Rodeo. He's a Utah Cowboy. So definitely a loss felt, not just in our neck of the woods, but the entire rodeo world in general. So, again, our thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to his wife, his child, the rest of his family, all his friends, and the pro rodeo world definitely suffering from this loss. We're going to go and take a break. When we come back with this word from our sponsors, we'll get ready to go as we preview the Intermountain Icebreaker. But this definitely, we do this, and I think we rodeo in Utah for the rest of the year with Mr. Kessler in mind.
Absolutely.
You're tuned in to the My Local Rodeo Show on mylocalrodeo.com and mylocalrodeo.com.
In Bear Lake, the very best place to stay is Bear Lake Venture Park. With camper and tent sites, this amazing park offers space for families to play. You'll find picnic tables, fire pits, a large common play area with play sets, a basketball court and a pickleball court, horseshoe pits, and a sand volleyball court. This fun, clean, family-friendly park never disappoints. And pets are welcome too. Take your Bear Lake experience to the next level. Make your reservations today online at bearlakeventure.com.
Explore Logan, Utah. We've got so much awesomeness, I don't know where to begin. Your hotel is only 10 minutes from the gorgeous National Forest for hiking and biking, birdwatching, and wildflower spying. Logan is Utah's heart of the arts with more than 253 live professional performances this summer and free concerts every weekday. Catch the Garters Market and tons of festivals and fun. Head to Logan. You won't break the bank on less than a tank. ExploreLogan.com.
Elin Olive and Matt Petrie here on the My Local Rodeo Show, February 28th, 2024. Cannot believe we're already talking about the end of February, because what does that mean? The Intermountain Icebreaker is right around the corner, and we have got a whole show dedicated to it, and it will kick this thing off talking with Garry Hawks. He is the Vice President of Marketing for the National High School Rodeo Association. Matt and I got a chance to talk with him about the Intermountain Icebreaker, about the Western Legacy Series, which the Intermountain Icebreaker is a part of, and just what separates this rodeo. Welcoming to the My Local Rodeo Show, we have Garry Hawks. He's the Vice President of Marketing for the National High School Rodeo Association. And Mr. Hawks, we got you on because we got the Intermountain Icebreaker coming up. And this rodeo, it's a big one, and it's part of what's called the National High School Rodeo Association Western Legacy Series. Can you kind of touch up on what that is?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. The Western Legacy Series is about 4 or 5 years old now. It was voted upon at Midwinter by our executive board and then transferred over to our full board. Working as a nonprofit, they're kind of like our guiders for the youth. And so what was the basis behind it is it was for membership enhancement and development. And so we picked about 4 or 5 different rodeos that were doing multi-state programs and kind of supplemented them with some assistance from the national office. So it started out, each of those rodeos was going to get $10,000 for membership enhancement and development. And if that meant that they needed to use that money to make a better production, if they needed it for added money, or if they needed it for like a facility or something along those lines, there's just like a couple different things that they could use it for. And that's when they applied for the, say, loan or grant or check, then they stated how they were going to use it and apply it. We have 6 currently, so it grew from about 3 to a solid 6 now. So we have regionally located across the United States, and then we have 1 in Canada. We have the Southeastern Showdown in Perry, Georgia. We have the Badlands Challenge in North Dakota, the Keystone Showdown in Pennsylvania, the Intermountain Icebreaker in Utah, and then the Border Bash in Oklahoma. And then we also have the Alberta Legacy Rodeo as well that takes place in Stettler, Alberta, Canada.
If you could kind of talk to us a little bit about the Intermountain Icebreaker and what kind of sets it apart from other rodeos in the NHSRA at this time.
Yeah, certainly. All these Western Legacy events are kind of unique to their geographical location, so it's super awesome to see them thrive, especially with like different formats. The Intermountain Icebreaker itself is a 2-go and then a short, so which means that the kids will have 2 chances to compete, and then their average, the top 20 or 25 in the average make it to the short go, which they host on Saturday, March 9th. They'll award the champions, and they pay out for the rounds and for the first round and the second round, and it's pretty good added money and awards and prizes. And what's super awesome about the Icebreaker is they draw in a bunch of people, and it's a super competitive atmosphere. So it's nice because it's kind of the start to the season for a lot of these other states and provinces. So the kids really get like a good, tough competition to kind of start their season out on as they head into their spring season.
So, Garry, we talked with Wendy a little bit, and we've got contestants coming from all the way from Alabama to Alaska to, Canada to come to Icebreaker. What is the big draw for this one that draws that nationwide and international audience?
I think what's fun is the competitiveness, for one. I think, obviously, it's fun to compete against the tougher kids, and Icebreaker has been known for that for a while. I joke and always say it's like the knife fight of the Western Legacy events, because you get some of the tougher states that pull into this one. Like Utah is always consistently in the top ranks at nationals, and same with Arizona and Nevada, and you get kids that come over from California. Those are such large membership states, and so the competitiveness is always there year-round, and fighting coming out of those to make it to our national levels is huge. And so I think that's kind of a huge draw. And then I think obviously the added money and the support that we get from our sponsors, from the NHSRA, and then what Wendy and Ben do to make this rodeo a great production and fun experience for the kids, I think really adds on to it as well.
With the added money, with the big pool of competitiveness that is pulled into this rodeo, would you say this kind of serves a little bit as a preseason preview for the national finals?
I think you could say that. I think what's unique about some of these Western Legacy events is you may see like a kid win against these 17 or 18 other different states that attend these rodeos, but then you may never see them in nationals. So it's kind of cool because it gives these kids another level to perform on. So where they can perform in their states and they get to go compete on like a kind of a bigger level, but you may never see them make it on the way to that national scale. And maybe some of these kids just don't have like the money or something to take that big, huge trip. So then this is like their championship title kind of event. So it's cool. Obviously there are some kids to look out for that you see that win the Icebreaker and some of these other legacy events that you're like, okay, I'm hoping that I get to see that kid compete at nationals because it was an outstanding performance at the Icebreaker.
So, Garry, can you tell us a little bit about the prizes and awards that are available at the Icebreaker?
Yeah, so I know that they award saddles and buckles. What's kind of cool is, like I said, so we started out giving $10,000 and now we give $14,000, and I know Wendy and Ben add that to just added money. And then we also have some sponsors that donate money. So we have some sponsor, Cinch Jeans and Shirts is one of our main title sponsors and biggest supporters of high school rodeo. And they give money to the Western Legacy events and they pay out for the short round qualifiers. So there's a little more added money from Cinch for the short round just to kind of elevate those kids. And then AQHA has been another longtime sponsor of the NHSRA, and they do like a side jackpot. So if you're an AQHA member or AQHYA member, I should say, they're paying out money to you being like the highest placing kid in like the tie down or the breakaway or the barrels and stuff. So it's cool because now some of our sponsors are reallocating a little bit or readjusting and targeting some of these legacy events. And so it's cool to see the standout events like Icebreaker that pays out almost like $100,000 in prizes and award in cash.
That is Garry Hawks. He's the Vice President of Marketing for the National High School Rodeo Association. Mr. Hawks, thank you so much for taking the time and coming on our show today. Anything else before we wrap this up?
Nope. I just say make it on out to Ogden or catch it live on your guys' live stream because it's for sure going to be great entertainment to watch.
Big thank you to Mr. Garry Hawks of the National High School Rodeo Association for joining us today. And, you know, he's absolutely right. It's going. I really think this is going to be a rodeo that, if you're a rodeo fan, period, whether you're a high school rodeo fan, whether you're collegiate pro, this is definitely rodeo you're not going to want to miss, especially that Saturday championship round.
No doubt it is. You know, we've referred to it as the American of high school rodeo, and it really is. Mm-hmm. You know, we'll see top kids from literally all over the country and north of the border.
Absolutely. And it all takes place at an iconic venue, the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Of course, you and I got a chance to go check it out. It is, guys, when you tune in, you are going to be blown away by the quality of these facilities that they have put on here. And we got a chance to talk with Mr. Duncan Olsen. He is the GM for the Golden Spike Event Center. And here's that conversation with him. Welcoming to the My Local Rodeo Show, we have Mr. Duncan Olsen. Now, Mr. Olsen is the general manager of the Golden Spike Event Center, host of the Intermountain Icebreaker, which takes place the first week of March. And Mr. Olsen, we're super excited to come and broadcast this event. I know you guys are excited to hold it. First question, talk to us real quick about just kind of the history of the Intermountain Icebreaker and the Golden Spike Event Center.
Yeah, so this is going to be year 13, I believe. We're super excited. It started back, 13 years ago when we kind of saw a need for an opportunity to get these kids out and kind of have that spring training, that preseason opportunity. And Weber County in general we've got a really good rodeo base here in Utah and in Weber County. And it kind of started with an idea from some of our employees at the time. They thought, why aren't we taking advantage of this and giving these kids an opportunity? Because we have so many awesome cowboys and cowgirls that are ready to compete, and we want them to have the most success moving forward into the state competition and then even the national final stuff. Let's give them an opportunity. And so that's kind of how the idea started, and it's blossomed into something that's even greater than I think that they thought it could be. So we're excited for this to come for the 13th year and looking forward to it.
What does it take to make this event happen?
Oh man,
it's not just get together the week before and throw it all together.
Yeah. One of the greatest things about our facility is we're rodeo ready. That's kind of our bread and butter. And so we have a lot of things that are pretty plug and play for us, which really helps. The equestrian world is kind of slowing down a little bit, and the venues aren't as plentiful as they used to be. And that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves in is you could host a rodeo tomorrow. We're good. But a lot of the prep stuff that we do, we end up setting up some extra stalls because the rodeo has grown to a size that, we don't have just always set up. We have to take and prepare some of our areas for the extra cattle, more pens and that kind of thing. He has to bring in a lot of extra stock because we're putting so many animals through, so many competitors are going. And so some of that stuff is the things that we've got to really take and focus on. We do roughly 500 events a year here at the Weber County Fairgrounds. And last weekend we had cheerleaders, and, we'll be ready for our cowboys and rodeo next.
If you could tell us about the history of the Golden Spike Event Center.
Yeah, so it came online in 87-ish. We were built to really help with the fair, but also drive the economic impact and tourism that comes with these types of events. And we've really become a one-stop all. I like to tell people that we have your crazy. It doesn't matter what your crazy is. We have it. Like I said, we just had cheerleaders. We've got a gun show. We just had an antique show. We've got some demolition derby coming up. The circus was here. It really doesn't matter what you're into. We can help you host it here at the Golden Spike Event Center in the Weber County Fairgrounds. And so we take pride in trying to give our customers the best experience, but also a heavy focus on driving that economic impact in that tourism, because it really helps our community. It helps, the taxpayers. It helps lighten that burden. And so that's kind of our focus. We've really developed into an event center that can host just about anything. But our bread and butter, like I said, that's the horses, the rodeo, that kind of thing.
Very good. Outside of the event center, what is your background in the rodeo area?
So, growing up, my grandpa, he was actually a pickup man. And so I've been a rodeo junkie my whole life. I didn't compete necessarily because I wasn't necessarily a horse individual. I didn't have a horse other than getting to ride grandpa's. But it's the equestrian and ranching life has always been kind of in my blood. I was more into the sports side of things, went and played some college baseball and got a master's degree in administration and sports management, and kind of started to go down the sports side of things. But I got into the event world and became really heavily involved in hosting events and putting events on. And so since then, I've really steered towards the venue management side of things. And that's kind of what led me back here. I had a spell out in Colorado with the city and county of Denver, and got an opportunity to come back to Utah to be a little bit of a cowboy, even though I may pose as one more often than not. But the event side of things is what really drives me. I love seeing the faces of people that are coming to have excitement. Working for a government entity, there's a lot of times where people don't want to deal with the government and don't want to work alongside the government. But when they're coming here, it's to have fun. It's to enjoy a party, enjoy a demolition derby, have some drinks, have some food, and have a good time. And so the ever changing environment of the event world and the happiness, that's my jam.
What can people that are attending the Intermountain Icebreaker expect from attending an event at the Golden Spike Event Center?
So I think the convenience is a big thing for us. I've gone to like the South Point and other places, and the stalls aren't super close. You got to take a train to get over to the arena. All our stuff's right here. It's super convenient. Got lots of food places, and our hotels are really pretty close. And so the convenience of everything kind of being compacted and on site is going to be a plus for those people, because you can come in and watch for a while and you don't have to travel, an hour and a half to get back to your hotel room. That's a big thing, I think, as well as just the environment. We're an event center that is built for rodeo, and having the streaming stuff, it's going to be super cool to be able to see where the other arena's at while I can sit back and watch the Bronx or the Bulls. And it's going to be an exciting time. The Icebreaker is one of my favorite events all year, because I get to see these kids that are tougher than nails and on to bigger and better things. I remember my first year, Stetson is junior in high school, and I just remember seeing him and thinking, man, this kid makes it look so easy. Who would have thought that he'd turn into the greatest bronc and bull rider in the world? But I'm so excited to watch the next generation come up and see how they can do.
You mentioned that you guys host a plethora of events, but you're always rodeo ready. What is it about the sport of rodeo that really kind of is at the heart of the Golden Spike Event Center?
I really feel like that's our culture. There was a point in time where Weber County had more horses than people. And when this place was built, that the equestrian side of things was definitely at heart. And although times change, people's grandpas pass away and the grandkids don't want to bale hay anymore, and they sell their property, and that's kind of the way that it is. But we still are kind of fighting for that equestrian side of things. We've really taken and become a hub for the region with, some of our properties that were equestrian based have gone away and have turned into different things. We've kind of taken on that flag barrier, and we've really tried to become the one stop for the equestrian people. And so that's kind of where we're at.
That's good. We were down there a couple of weeks ago for a site visit, and going through the arena, and there is not a bad seat in the house.
No,
that's
It's true. I really enjoy watching events in our arena. We have a really good view from just about anywhere. There's only been a handful of times that I've seen the arena fill up to where there's 4,000 people or so. We can fit 6,000. We haven't done that many events. We don't really host a PRCA. We have some good partners that do local rodeos here and regional rodeos, but it's a fun environment. I hope to one day, have the Wilderness Circuit finals come back and some of those things to really bolster our repertoire of rodeo stuff. But you're right. There's not a bad seat in the place.
So, just so anybody that wants to come to some of these rodeos, what's the gate charge to get in and watch one?
It really depends on the level. We've got some of the Utah youth type of rodeos. They're not charging. They want you to come and watch. And a lot of those high school kids, they're far more competitive than people give them credit. And so some of our high school rodeos, they won't cost anything to come and watch some of the future stars of rodeo. if you're a true rodeo junkie. Um, and it ranges up to 20-25 bucks for some of our more specialized, bull riding evenings and different things, but very affordable when you look at it on a big scale.
Great entertainment for, like you said, a very affordable price.
Absolutely.
What is going to be the charge to watch the Intermountain Icebreaker? Will that qualify as one of those high school rodeos that people are just free to come in and watch, or is there going to be a gate for that?
So we used to charge a gate fee, and a few years back, I don't know if it was before the dreaded COVID or after the dreaded COVID, we went away from having a gate. And part of it was the labor on our side. It was so hard. I lost a lot of good staff during the COVID years where we were having to pretend to be the mask police, and there was a bad taste in our mouth of dealing with people and telling them that they had to pay after they've already paid an entry fee and they've already traveled from Oregon, and it got to where we didn't want to deal with that anymore. And so we got rid of our gate fee. And so an awesome opportunity to come and watch some of the best cowboys and cowgirls on their way up to being professionals, because there's some of these seniors that next year they'll mess around and get their card and be competing at a high level. I can promise you that, because the best of the best come to that spring.
Well, you also got reigning national champions from last year that are going to be there this year, and just a who's who of high school rodeo. We kind of compared it. It's the American of high school rodeo. Kids from all around the country. You've got top 5 talent. You've got talent that are knocking on the door. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as well versed. I really was a bull riding junkie. I've liked the PBR and that kind of thing for a long time, but I had no idea of the depth of talent at the high school level. Some of our winter series rodeos that we have, some of these kids, they're 15, 16 years old, and they're competing against the grown men that maybe has-beens or maybe never were's, but there's so much talent. And you see these little kids jump off and bulldog, and it's unreal how much talent is there. I like to consider myself an athlete, but trying to hold on to a horse and throw a rope at the same time and hit a target, I'm out. I feel like playing college baseball. I have a pretty good arm still. I can do that, but sit on a horse, I'm out. So I really am excited to see the talent level. Drawing back to my first year, Briggs Madsen, who has gone on to great things, and Stetson, they were like juniors in high school. And I just remember watching those kids and thinking, man, these guys are special, and didn't realize how special. But, I'm a big fan of both those kids, because I got to see them before they turned into something special,
That is Duncan Olsen. He is the general manager of the Golden Spike Event Center. Mr. Olsen, thank you so much for coming on the My Local Rodeo Show. Anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I encourage everybody to come out. I encourage, any cowboys and cowgirls that are out there. We have so many open opportunities to be involved and compete and test your skill set, because you never know how you stack up until to come to the icebreaker and compete against the best. Lots of good prizes, the saddles, the added money, the jackpots that mom and dad can get a part of. Just so much fun is waiting for you at the icebreaker, and we look forward to seeing everybody.
That was Duncan Olsen. He's the general manager of the Golden Spike Event Center, home of the Intermountain Icebreaker, which if you are not fortunate enough to be at that rodeo, never fear, you can catch every run, every ride of the 2024 Intermountain Icebreaker live on mylocalrodeo.com. And, Matt, we got some sponsors to thank, but before we do that, he mentioned how you see future stars of rodeo at the Intermountain Icebreaker. It wasn't that long ago that Stetson Wright was there and Sattler Wright also there. And what did Sattler Wright? Well, he has Mr. Olsen would put it, he went and messed around and won San Antonio. He's the number one saddle bronc rider in the world right now.
You know, it's amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these kids. We know their names.
Yep.
But getting to know some of the other ones that we'll see in the PRCA ranks.
Yeah.
If not this year, in the next couple of years.
Absolutely. All right. So we could not do this without our sponsors. We heard from two of them earlier, but just a big thank you to all of our sponsors.
Great sponsors. We have a couple of new ones this week, so we appreciate them. But first one's Bear Lake Venture Park, where you can take your Bear Lake experience to the next level. We have Von R. Cook for Congress in Utah in District 4, which includes San Pete, Juab, Utah, and Salt Lake County. Vaughn's running with the United Utah Party, and he is focused on quality of life for those that he represents. And another new one is Cache Valley.
Cache Valley Visitors Bureau.
There you go. had brain freeze. Cache Valley Visitors Bureau. They've got some exciting things coming up. Cache Valley Cowboy Rendezvous, March 14th through the 17th. And for a whole list of everything that they have going on, check out explorelogan.com.
Awesome. As we move on in our show today, it's the My Local Rodeo Show here on mylocalradio.com and mylocalrodeo.com, also on our YouTube channel as well. But we've got two more really great segments, and of course this one. Without Ben Gurman of Broken Heart Rodeo, there is no Intermountain Icebreaker. Matter of fact, we talked to this gentleman, and it became very, very apparent that this is the man who is responsible for this great rodeo.
This is his baby, and he is very proud of it.
All right, here is that conversation we had with Mr. Gurman. Welcoming to the My Local Rodeo Show, we have Broken Heart Rodeo's Ben Gurman. Now, Broken Heart Rodeo, they are going to be the stock contractor for the Intermountain Icebreaker, and as well as a lot of UHSRA events that we're going to see this spring. But we're talking with Mr. Gurman about the Intermountain Icebreaker. And Mr. Gurman, as you've said off the air, this has been your baby for well over 30 years. Can you talk to us about the history of the Intermountain Icebreaker?
So the Icebreaker itself, this is the 13th year. Broken Heart Rodeo is 34 years in business. But the Icebreaker, we started 13 years ago, and we've just slowly built it up to what it is today. You know, we have $82,000 in prizes and awards, 28 saddles. We give 296 buckles. You know, we've got kids, I think, from 17 states plus Canada right now signed up for this year. You know, it's a whole gamut of things that kind of showcase the kids. We have college coaches that come to our greet and meet on Tuesday night, you know, to talk to the kids and give them opportunities, you know, to be recruited. You know, we have jackpots every night, you know, pulls and barrels, breakaway, team roping, go on every night, so the kids have something, you know, that to do after the rodeo. It's just a, you know, kind of a whole gamut of events to keep the kids involved and busy during the 4 days.
So the rodeo itself has been running for 13 years. Talk to me about the ideas and that kind of made you want to put this on, because this is a Herculean effort right here.
Well, I've always, you know, taken pride in helping, you know, these young kids get started and getting going in their rodeo careers. And, you know, I've been a past president of the Utah High School Rodeo Association. I served on the board there for 10 years. So I've always been involved, you know, and me and a couple of other guys come up with the idea that it would be neat to put on an event like this where the kids get to kind of showcase and see where they stand with kids from other states and get going for the year. That's why we obviously call it the Icebreaker, because it's kind of the first rodeo of the spring that all these kids from different states can come to get started. And so it's that was kind of how it got started in the beginning. And, you know, we've had several, you know, kids that have come through this deal. You know, Keenan Hayes, for example, had come 2 or 3 years to the Icebreaker. He was the world champion bareback rider last year. You know, all the Wright boys, Stetson, Statler, Ryder, Rusty, Colburn, Bradshaw, all those guys have came through the Icebreaker. You know, so it's kind of a neat deal to see these kids come and compete and see where they stack up against kids from other states, and then be able to watch them go on and excel in pro rodeo, later in life.
Can you talk to us about how the Western Legacy Series kind of got involved with this?
Yeah, the National High School Rodeo Association has supported us from the beginning, and then here 4 or 5 years ago, they put this Western Legacy Series together, which they have one in North Dakota and Georgia and Oklahoma, and they kind of, help put some prize money in that behind the events and help advertise it and support us. And it's just helped all these events grow and turn into what they have.
All right, if you don't mind, we'll step away from Icebreaker for just a moment and dig into Broken Heart Rodeo a little bit. You've had several top stock awards for IMPRA and RMPRA, Stock Contractor of the Year several times. Your stock's gone to NFR, Nevada State Finals, Utah State Finals, the Wilderness Circle. What do you attribute that success to?
A lot of hard work and surrounding myself with good people. In the beginning when I started out, I got to be friends with Bar T Rodeo, Bud Kirby, Hank Franzen with Powder River Rodeo. I did a lot of stuff with those guys, and I took bits and pieces of what they did and how they excelled and used it into my deal. And I've always, you're only as good as the people that work for you. So I've always tried to surround myself with, quality people to help me, and that kind of just turns into success.
Right. Now, I hope I have this story right, but it looks like you teamed up with Circle J Rodeo to actually form the RMPRA. And the reason I bring it up is there's a lot of high school kids that rodeo in the RMPRA. So can you give us a little background on that?
Yeah. In 2008, we were in the Intermountain Professional Rodeo Association. We decided to start our own rodeo association. So me and Jim Mascaro, the owner of Circle J Rodeo, we formed the Rocky Mountain Professional Rodeo Association, and now we put on in our association between 35 and 40 rodeos every year. And they're going strong, and it's kind of neat to see those kids come from high school into our association and then them move on into the pro rodeo ranks and see the success that that they have.
If you could talk to us about the stock that we're going to be seeing at the Intermountain Icebreaker.
It'll be a good even pen of bulls and horses. I have Mascaros will be bringing some of their rough stock to help me some. Bill Clark out of Idaho will be bringing some of his stock to help me so we can have a good even pen. And, we're going to have bulls there that have been bull and horses that have been of the year and of the finals in the RMPRA. And so that the short round should be, hopefully the best kids against the best stock, and we can, showcase the kids' talent and ability to see who comes out on top.
When you look at the names that you've mentioned to kind of come through the Intermountain Icebreaker, to see where it's grown in the last 13 years, talk to me about just kind of your thoughts on that.
Well, it's like anything. When you first start out with something, you have people that are, naysayers. Hey, this is probably not going to work. It's not, I've always been one to, if I believe in something, take a chance and go. And then slowly, as people see it succeed, then of course everybody jumps on the bandwagon that, that was a good idea and that. But, we had several people at first that didn't think that it would, go as well as it has. And obviously, we've grown it into something that, I take great pride in, and it's been successful. So, and we try every year to come up with something to try and make it better and try and get more sponsors and try and give back to the kids as much as we can. But yeah, that's what I'm proud about, is that we've kept it going and that we try and build on it every year.
That is Ben Gurman with Broken Heart Rodeo, also the man behind the Intermountain Icebreaker. Mr. Gurman, thank you so much for coming on to the My Local Rodeo Show. We are so excited to be able to live stream this event in Ogden. It's a one-of-a-kind event, a world-class event, and we cannot wait to get there. Anything else before we wrap it up?
No, thank you very much, and I hope all your listeners that get a chance can come and enjoy it, and the contestants come and have a great time.
That was Ben Gurman of the Intermountain Icebreaker, as we have had a great show building up the excitement, and no better way to end it than a conversation that we were able to record with the rest of our broadcast team. Of course, Mark Gill, 20-year bullfighter, Jake Nichols, play-by-play extraordinaire and producer extraordinaire, AJ Lamb, myself and Matt Petrie. We got a chance to discuss what we are most looking forward to the Intermountain Icebreaker, and here is that conversation. And welcome to a special episode of the My Local Rodeo Show, right here on mylocalradio.com and mylocalrodeo.com. Elon Olive and Matt Petrie usually here, but we got some special guests. It's our entire broadcast crew for the Intermountain Icebreaker coming up in Ogden next week. Of course, we'll get started on March 6th, and it'll run through Saturday the 9th. We've got Matt Petrie, Mark Gill, Jake Nichols, and AJ Lamb. Let's go ahead and start with you, Mark. 20-year bullfighter, a lot of familiarity in the sport of rodeo. The Intermountain Icebreaker, it's no small one. It's a big one for high school rodeo, isn't that right?
It really is, and it gives these kids a lot of exposure, especially those kids that haven't signed. There's a lot of coaches that come to that rodeo, and I spoke with several of them that even if they can't go, they have eyes in the stands and really, shopping for those good athletes that can come and go to school for them and get an education and continue their rodeo career.
And it's kids from all over the country. This really is like the American of high school rodeo.
It really is. I know it's advertised as Alaska to Alabama. I've spoken to a few high school rodeo kids that I knew that rodeoed with my son, and there's 2 from Texas that I know that are coming and 1 from Louisiana.
Wow. Let's go ahead and move on to you, Jake Nichols. You're going to be lead play-by-play in the riding arena, so a lot of roping in your future. Talk to me about what we can expect from the broadcast on that side.
I'm excited first for this rodeo. It's like pitchers and catchers spring training. It's the first big high school rodeo, and it's a sign that winter might really be over and spring and summer is coming, and it's rodeo season. I'm super excited, and I'm excited for these kids, especially the timed events, because it's stuff that a lot of cowboys and cowgirls have done on a ranch, roping or cut. I know there's not cutting and reining in this rodeo, but it's ranchy stuff. And who's better at it? Who's the best at it? Who's the fastest at it? And that's rodeo at its core. And I love that. I'm excited.
Yeah, it really takes rodeo to its roots. You're absolutely right, Jake. AJ, let's go ahead and move on to you now. AJ, you're going to be a producer at the riding arena, and you'll provide some commentary, but you're also going to be interviewing a lot of these top cowboys and cowgirls and rodeo coaches that Mark was talking about. How excited are we to feature this world-class talent on mylocalrodeo.com?
Thanks, Elon. I am super excited to bring along the background of it, be able to touch in base and show everyone the intricacies behind the background with it. Plus bringing on all of our amazing advertisers to help us bring this aboard. My favorite thing to do is get down there and be neck and neck with our competitors. And I'm really excited to see so many different competitors over 16 states, 17 areas around, where we get to interview and be the nitty gritty of what these kids are really feeling, how excited they are going to be to it, and bring that to our sponsorship. So I'm really excited to be there and be able to interview such young kids.
What we do is sports broadcasting, and what we do as sports broadcasters is tell stories. And there's no better way to kind of get the backstory and the beginning of that story than what the interviews you're going to provide for us, AJ.
Absolutely. And those stories are truly important of those kids, because coming in and working from the ground, working from their ranches, from their homes, to being able to come up to something where they get to make whole life choice and be able to drive into something that they truly believe in from birth. Get to hear those stories are really important.
Moving on to Matt Petrie. And Matt, you and I have been working on this thing for just over a year now. We got the word about the Intermountain Icebreaker back in April. And I think you and I have just kind of been like two kids not being able to sleep on Christmas Eve night, thinking about it. And it's almost here.
We got that call from Windy Doll just after we committed to doing a couple of Utah high school rodeos. And it was like we were going to the Super Bowl in our first year, our rookie year. And, I'm so excited to be there. I'm excited for our crew with you and Mark and Jake and AJ and everybody else that's behind the scenes. I'm excited after some of the people we talked to today and know the origins of the rodeo and what all is going to happen there and what a big deal this is really nationwide.
And Jake Nichols, if anyone cannot make it to Ogden, they can sit back, relax. We will have every run, every ride, every thrill, every spill, every moment in both of these arenas live on mylocalrodeo.com.
One of the biggest things I'm looking forward to is seeing how some of these high schoolers that competed last year in big rodeos or this very rodeo, how much they've improved over the year from junior to senior year, big jumps. How many of them are coming into their first ever big rodeo and see them all wide-eyed and they're, rookie contestants and their whole career, even if it's not next level that you're going with rodeo. It's pretty cool to see who's gotten better and who are the new faces this year.
And for those new faces, Mark Gill, they're going to get a chance to face off against reigning national champions.
Absolutely. They've got to come with their hammer cocked. That's for sure. And the one good thing about big rodeos like this is the cream rises to the top, and that compete level comes with it as well. That kids are going to be aiming for those top spots, and they're going to have a lot of competition behind them.
AJ, as we get ready to go down to Ogden and bring this great event to the folks at home, what's something that you would like everybody at home to kind of know as we get ready to bring this story that's going to unfold over a week in Ogden, Utah?
We're going to be bringing it really well for everyone. So you're going to be able to see all of the action, just like you said, Elin, all of the heart pounding action that's going through. And make sure you join us on mylocalrodeo.com so you can check those out in every little facets.
Matt Petrie, I understand we could not do this without the help and the support of some individuals. This is very much a team effort. We're the ones that's going to be bringing the action, but we also have Dustin Pay as well as Freddie is going to be part of the broadcast as well and the behind the scenes features. But we have a whole team that we need to thank to make this possible.
We'll start in-house with Val Cook, the owner of My Local Rodeo. He's the first one that we had to convince that this was going to be a great adventure, and he has since jumped on board and is full force behind it. Outside of the building, we've got Dee DeLeo out of National High School Rodeo. We got Garry Hawks. We've got Cindy Fitzgerald from Utah, Dixie Huxtable from Wyoming. All of the secretaries at all the rodeos. We couldn't do what we do without the help they've given us. And from what I've seen, they're going to be just as excited as we are, and I really appreciate them.
And one last question for all of us, and I'll start with you, Matt. What is the thing you are looking forward to the most with getting the opportunity not only to broadcast this rodeo, but to attend it, to be in the stands, to watch this history take place?
We did a site visit a couple of weeks ago, and just standing in that arena and looking at it, the hair rose up on the back of my neck, just imagining what we're going to see. 600 plus contestants, best contestants in the country and from Canada. I'm not sure I've ever been to a rodeo like this, and I can't wait to see how it rolls out.
AJ Lamb, how about you?
I can last year when you guys got to go watch the Oakley rodeo and perform that, you got to see a bull rider that was his very first rodeo ever rise to the top and become a champion. And I'm excited to see all of those champions and all the new people come in and rise to the occasion, rise to the challenge, and show their great determination to become what rodeo is. And I'm grateful to be able to experience those new champions coming aboard.
Jake Nichols, how about you?
There's something about rodeo that is unlike any other sport. Elon, you and I and a lot of play-by-play guys cover a lot of high school sports, basketball, football. Those athletes have 32 minutes to show us what they got every week or every other day. A rodeo contestant, it's 17 years, put that girl in place for the next 17 seconds in barrels. You know what I mean? Like, they have to do what they do in measured in seconds. It's unbelievable pressure. And I just can't wait to see it. You just never know what you're going to see on that next run.
Mark Gill.
Yeah, they're all coming in with a clean slate. There's no state association involved here. There's no loyalties, anything else like that. They're going to come in and compete their hardest and come in and hopefully end up in that short round on Saturday.
As for me, rodeo is my favorite thing ever. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, being around my family who were involved in it, and to be able to bring this high school rodeo to the folks back home and bring the same attention, the same credit, the same, I guess you can say, spotlight to these athletes who work just as hard as all the other athletes that Jake mentioned that him and I cover. I cannot wait. There's just something that I'm in my happy place when I'm at a rodeo grounds. I'm in my happy place when I'm watching saddle bronc riding, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the most beautiful thing in motion you can watch. It's going to be a week in my happy place, and I can't wait. That is Matt Petrie, Mark Gill, Jake Nichols, AJ Lamb, and myself, Elon Olive. And this is the part of the crew, most of the crew that's bringing you the action at the Intermountain Icebreaker. We'll also have Freddie on camera at Arena 2, and then Dustin Pay will be on camera at the Golden Spike Arena. Gentlemen, anything I forget before we wrap this up?
Nothing. I'm just glad to see these kids get to start on the biggest stage that they'll probably see all year until nationals, and get going on the right foot.
Can we fast forward the next few days?
And with that, we're ending this one. We'll be right back on the My Local Rodeo Show.
Also, a big thank you to our friends at Cowboy Channels. You can catch all of these performances, all these rounds, everything we've got on the Intermountain Icebreaker on demand on the Cowboy Channel Plus app.
You know, it's a great partnership to have with those guys, and just take these kids spotlight even further into the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Without the Cowboy Channel, this isn't happening, because they've kind of given us the green light to kind of work with them and on this rodeo. And again, you can catch every performance, every round, everything on the Cowboy Channel Plus app on demand and live on mylocalradio.com and mylocalrodeo.com. That is going to do it for this week's episode of the My Local Rodeo Show. And Matt, next time we're on the air with this show, we will have performance number 1 of round 1 of the 2024 Intermountain Icebreaker in the books. Have a lot to talk about then, I have a feeling.
There is. You know, I'm not going to sleep for the next few days till we're down there, because it truly is like waiting for Christmas.
Absolutely. So I'm Elon Off. That's Matt Petrie. A big thank you to our guests. We have Garry Hawks of the National High School Rodeo Association, Duncan Olsen of the Golden Spike Event Center, Ben Gurman, founder of the Intermountain Icebreaker and the stock contractor, of course, Broken Heart Rodeo, as well as our crew at mylocalrodeo.com. I'm Elon Off. That's Matt Petrie, and we will see you guys at the Intermountain Icebreaker as we get started bright and early on Wednesday morning with performance 1 of round 1 live from Ogden, Utah. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in Ogden.